Good evening and welcome to the March 3rd, 2014 meeting of the Park and Recreation Commission. There being no one here from the public, we'll skip over the public forum, and given that there are some time constraints among the commission members, we'll start with the items that need to be voted on so that we can make sure we have a quorum. So the first item is the approval of minutes of our February meeting. We have two sets of minutes to approve. One is a special meeting held on the 24th of February, and the other is our regular meeting held on the 10th of February. So let's start with the earlier one, the 10th regular meeting. Do we have a motion?
I will second it.
Okay. Are there any corrections or additions to those minutes?
Not that I saw.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of approving the minutes as read?
Aye.
I'm going to abstain. I wasn't
And I'll abstain.
present.
Okay, 2 abstentions. Okay, going now to the minutes of the meeting, the special meeting of February 24th. Do we have a motion to approve those?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any additions or corrections?
Not tonight.
Okay. All those in favor of approving?
Aye.
Aye.
Any abstentions? One, 2 abstentions. Okay, the next item that needs a vote is the approval of the bills for the month. Do we have a motion to approve the bills in the amount of $79,399.43?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, they're approved. Are there any questions, discussion on that? No? Okay. Okay. Correspondence. We have a letter from the SIL Group praising our choice of staff for the senior program.
Yeah, that was coming.
I don't know. Do you know?
No, I don't. That's what I was going to ask.
Could you?
Does anyone know what that stands for?
Enlighten us?
SSIL?
Shoreline
Lifelong Institute Learning,
Okay, gotcha.
Institute of Lifelong Learning.
Okay, thank you. We also, does everyone have the Forest and Park? That's a separate issue that's on the agenda, and if it didn't get on the printed agenda, Rick added it, so why don't we hold that off? We also had a report on Guilford's heritage tourism experience, but we really don't have that as an agenda item, so if there's time later, we'll just say why it's in the packet for us. It's a matter of an update.
Okay.
Okay. The staff and director reports. Any questions on Rick's report? Oops, I didn't realize.
I just had a question for Rick. We're 2 months into the winter. Snow removal's meeting our expectations because of the lack of, or the slowdown, not the slowdown, but the diminished number of people that we had.
Well, there's snow on the ground, but not in the parking lot.
It's not in the parking lot, well, that's good. I mean, but we met our expectations with.
We did. One of the storms, we had one full-time guy, and then 2 seasonal guys, and then the facilities department helped us out.
Because, I mean, the town looks really great from the amount of snow that we've had, so it's,
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
and
kudos to the guys who
Yes.
did extra work to get it done.
Yeah, and we are fully staffed as of this week. First time in about a year and a half we've had our entire
Good.
staff.
Terrific.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the earlier concern that we raised and that you took to the first selectman has been addressed?
Yes, yeah.
Great.
We were able to get some help, and so it was just one, maybe 2 storms where we needed the help, because we just, guys are out with injuries and, but we made it. We got through it.
Well, we're on the
Yeah.
tail end, hopefully, so.
Yeah, and they did a good job last night, too.
Did I just say?
Guys did a good job.
It was nice to find some no snow for once.
Any discussion or questions about Terry Buckley's report on the senior program?
Other than there's lots of nice trips coming
Yeah.
up.
Yeah,
Lots
that's
of
what I
good
was
stuff
thinking.
going on.
Good stuff.
They went to Waterbury, I saw.
Yes.
They went to Foster's Chocolate, and
Yeah.
they grew up with the folks.
Yeah.
And San Marino's as well.
Terry brought some back. I had one. It was good.
Well, the trip to the garden show in Boston, I mean, that's, first of all, a very long drive if you make it yourself, but having tried to go there, it's very difficult to park. You have to park miles away, at least where they used to have it, I'm not sure about here. So that's a really good trip, Sunday the 16th, and they still have room, I think.
Great.
How about any corrections or questions about Ellen Clow's report? Okay. Old business, the Standing Fields Committee. And Rick, do you also want to include their suggestion
Yeah.
at this point?
Which is probably would be part of letter H, the field use fees. We talked about that at the last field committee meeting again, and their recommendation was to have a subcommittee. They've already selected 3 people to serve on the subcommittee, rather than me basically going back and forth, saying here's what the commission suggested, here's what the field, have a couple members of the commission, field committee get together, hash out the policy. We've got to revise it anyway, and we're finding a few new issues that are coming up, and so probably makes sense to have a subcommittee of our commission, if you all agree to do that, and meet with the 2 or 3 from the field committee, and then come up with a plan that we all can agree on.
I think that makes a lot of sense, Rick, because the people who know the use of the fields, some of us are less well-informed about how the fields are used and what the different groups are. So to have a subcommittee of 4, 2 from each group,
Yeah.
I think would be a good idea. Do we have a couple of volunteers?
I'll volunteer to do that.
I'll volunteer.
Okay, great.
And Ralph actually would be a good person to be on it as
Right.
well.
He
Yeah.
would. Jacob's Beach Project. Sue?
Well, not a lot different from the last report when I spoke about the boardwalk is finished. Looks great. I was down there today again, just checking it out now that the snow kind of melted away. They're gonna come back to finish sodding and then setting the irrigation heads. Our subcommittee met. I wasn't able to attend the entire meeting. I had another meeting I had to leave for, so Barbara, you probably know more, but we were talking about purchasing Adirondack chairs, putting in the benches that people have pledged that they wanted to in memorial to family members that we had already approved. So if there was something else that you wanted to add from that meeting?
I don't think so, Sue, except that there were 4 benches, I believe, that people had signed on to donate in memory of or in honor of.
Right.
And then there was a discussion about the Adirondack chairs that will be well, we aren't sure if they should be tied down or not. That was a big discussion about whether they would walk away if they were not nailed down, or whether that defeats the purpose of having a kind of a leisurely sitting area that can be moved by people.
Into the shade or
So
the
we're,
sun.
the jury is still out on that. Oh, and I guess the trash cans.
Yes,
There
they were
was-
getting ready to talk about that when I left.
Okay, the trash can, well, there are different kinds of trash cans, and some of you will remember when they put the ugly plastic ones with the flop-up lid on the green, people were outraged
Yeah.
at the looks of them. So we had kind of a lot of discussion about the need to place attractive ones that match the benches, at least in the areas near the benches where, in the vista of the beach, and save the less attractive plastic ones for behind a fence somewhere, or larger ones so that, the smaller ones could be emptied in there.
Right.
So I think that it was
Nice.
pretty unanimous, that people felt it was important to preserve the aesthetics of what is going to be a beautiful park.
Mhm.
I think that's about it.
I think that was about it. I know we were kind of up to speed on the project itself and where we were at with that. But just to reiterate, those benches that we're referring to, they will all be approved as per our policy that we have when people make memorial donations, that it's under the supervision of the staff so that we know that they're consistent.
Are they going to move forward with the tiles as well, with the painted tiles?
I haven't had any more discussion about that or heard any updates.
Yeah, that-
I know they
that-
were talking about the bathroom interior painting, and we talked about that. But I haven't heard more about the tile things.
Yeah, at this point, it's on
It's
hold.
kind of,
It's on
It
hold.
was going to be one of our art and craft classes, but they're actually making birdhouses right now instead. They're gonna be putting those in different places.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also, well, that's later on with the Boy Scout, but the Jacob's Beach flag and so forth. And then also, I want to work with Will in terms of placing the plaque, the dedication plaque, probably on some kind of boulder stone.
Yeah, still sitting on my table. It'd be good to get it. Barbara keeps saying, you got to clean your office.
So we'll also work with that. But that's about it right now.
Right. Okay, thanks. How about the Chittenden Park Boardwalk?
The Board of Selectmen awarded the bid to Diversified Contractors last week. It's in the amount of $73,900, and we had that special meeting to talk about that, and, you know, we're gonna take the balance of the funds out of our account to help pay for the diamond piers with the foundations. So the contractor is scheduled to start this Thursday. There's not really anything he's gonna be able to do down there, because he needs the diamond piers, and it's gonna take 3 weeks to get those. We ordered them, I mean, within an hour after the Board of Selectmen approved it. I went out right on the phone and called to get it going. And so, but there's some survey work they have to do to update the survey that Will originally had done down there, and they can start ordering some of the other materials they need to get. So they're officially supposed to start this Thursday.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And we're aware that they need to start and stay to a timeline because of the environmental issues, namely possible nesting birds. Right.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, good job on that, because it was looking, as we know, they need to have that finished so that the celebration of the 375th can go forward.
Absolutely.
On that, June 8th, I believe it is. The Eagle Scout projects.
When the weather gets better. I mean,
Yeah.
they're all in sync and in line, and you know, one of them contacted me the other day and said he's ready to go and do the plantings down around the bocce court, but not yet. And I just got another one today. Another potential Eagle Scout is going to do some plantings in the courtyard here, the garden that we
Nice.
had. That just kind of turned to weeds last year. We used to have some butterfly bushes, and I think I want to work with John Cunningham a little bit on it, but I'm thinking some more butterfly bushes again, because that used to attract the butterflies. Maybe a couple little bird feeders out there, and some plants in the garden there to spruce that all up. So,
Nice.
yeah, I think it's an area I thought we could use a little help, and I gave that as an idea to the young man, and he called me today and said, yeah, I'd like to do that.
Oh, good.
So
Great.
that'll be this spring.
I think enlisting John's help would be important because he'll know what plants can thrive there.
Yeah. Mhm.
It's a very sunny, warm location, I know, because the daffodils come out way in advance of
Yeah, they're about
everything
this
else.
tall right now.
Oh, they are? Oh,
Yeah.
see, it's
Yeah.
a little microclimate there.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, great. The weeds at Lake Quantipoc.
Yeah, I sent an email to Chuck Lee from DEP. He's the, not sure what his title is, but he's the one we got to talk with about that issue up there. And Greg Bugbee had an initial conversation with him, and we're going to follow up. We're trying to schedule a meeting with him and other, probably Jim Portley and other appropriate people to see what do we have to do to go into to see if we can do the drawdown of the lake. Jim Portley had met with, or spoke with somebody from I think I mentioned the last meeting, from the dam unit, and they pretty much have given the okay to do it. And so feasibly it can be done, but now we have to just get the environmental side and make sure there's no issues with that. So we're working on that.
Do you know how long it's going to take to draw that lake down?
I don't know. I mean, that's
I know
something
we
that
talked about it last.
the engineers have to let us know that, but I mean, typically you start this around November, you know, and it's drained by the time the cold weather sets in.
Mhm.
And then conversely, they gotta figure out how long it's gonna take to refill it, to make sure it's filled
That's my
for
next question.
crew teams in the spring and fishing
Yeah.
season opening up and so on.
Okay.
Yeah.
They said they were gonna take it down, what, 7 feet? 7 to 9
5
feet?
or 6 is the max they can go.
5 or 6? Because
Yeah.
it doesn't look like the dam is 5 feet tall. That's the thing that, I drive past it every day on my way home from work, and I'm trying to figure out where all that water is going to go, because that dam just doesn't look like it's.
We gotta
5 feet
rebuild it.
tall. Yeah.
They have to rebuild it and then drop it down too, so to
Mhm.
make it lower than what it is, so you can get the lake down 5 feet. And it has something to do with redoing the culverts, and that's stuff that Jim Portley's working on. But it's called a weir system, so you only remove like a section at a time, so you're not
Right.
flooding the properties out down below, you
Yeah.
just slowly
Yeah.
drop it down.
Given that it's already, March 3rd, is it wise to do it now? By the time you get final approval, it'll be April. Will the lake recover itself? I mean,
We won't be able to do it till next year. We have to,
Oh,
it's
dear.
not funded yet anyway.
Oh, okay.
You know, but we're looking
okay.
at what
So
would
you're
it
getting
cost.
ready to do it,
Yeah.
and it could be done in the fall,
Right.
and then over the
November-ish.
winter, it'll refurbish.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And it may be a year and a half from now, because if
Okay.
something we have to put in our budget, it's not in there for, we have no idea what this is gonna cost yet. So it may be a year and a half before we can do that. But meanwhile, excuse me, the money we put in our budget was to do the vacuum dredging of just the beach area to get the weeds at least out of the beach area and the
Right.
leaches that we were getting
Right.
there.
And you will still go forward with that?
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
But
As
we
long as
don't
it's
have to put it
approved.
into the budget because this is a state-owned.
Well, it's the only thing we're
It
trying
would
to,
be
yeah, it's a
their-
state lake, so we're trying to get state money to
Yeah.
do this. Because it benefits everybody who uses that lake, not
You
just the
never
people
know.
on the
Yeah.
beach.
Well, that's
It's
the
kayakers,
question.
You never know.
fishermen,
Right.
everybody, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one of the reasons that we are pushing with the state to try to get them involved and get some state funding to help with it.
Mm. We shall see.
The budget hearing's scheduled for March 4th?
yeah,
and
first
9th
one's
and
tomorrow
6th. Okay.
And usually there's a follow-up one on Thursday, and then if necessary, another one next Monday.
What time is it tomorrow night?
7:30 in the Guilford room here.
Yep.
Same for the 6th,
6th?
Yes.
2 nights?
Mhm.
7:30 here?
Yeah.
Okay. We already handled the field use fees, so we can go to new business. And in your packet, you had a request from the Forest and Park group. They're the ones who have funded the main part of the boardwalk down at Chittenden and are our partners in that whole effort. And they have asked for permission to serve ale. There's something special about the Berkshire Brewing Company, a special beer called the New England Trail Ale to serve at the opening, at the dedication of New England Trail Southern Gateway, which is at Chittenden Park. So they'd like to serve a limited amount of this special beverage. As you may know, our rules preclude serving alcohol on any town property, but there is a provision for getting our approval, if it's one of our parks, and the approval of the Board of Selectmen. It seems like with some people missing, maybe we should just all think about how we feel about this and have a more full discussion at our next meeting. Would that sound fair, or do you want to have a discussion now and?
When do we
Wait.
need a decision by?
It looks
Well,
like
that's
it's-
June
This
8th.
is June 8th.
Yeah.
Our next meeting is April 7th.
You need 30 days prior in order to issue the permit according to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
So it'd
included
be
that just so you knew what the
May 7th
ordinance was.
essentially. Right, so May 7th, so did they have any time frame on their end?
About the
Let her
brewing
know,
of
but-
the special ale? They didn't say in the
They
letter.
didn't say in the letter, it doesn't say. So
Actually,
it
we'd
just
have to
says when.
decide, we'd have to decide by the April meeting, because the May meeting will be
30,
within the 30-day time period
Right.
before the June 8th
Yeah,
yep.
date, so it's either tonight or
April 7th.
April.
I guess 7th, whatever.
It would be
April
the
is,
only
yeah.
2 days that we could make. a
So wait till
decision on
April
it.
7th, so we have a
Well,
fuller-
what's people, would you like to discuss it further now? Is everybody aware that that is a
Yes.
provision?
Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
But that there is an opportunity to grant a special permission?
And Barbara, if you don't mind me just adding, because
No,
this isn't
please.
on the agenda, but I mentioned to you that I got another request Friday. The Chamber of Commerce is asking for an event at Jacobs Beach in the summer where they'd like to have some alcohol at the beach. I think they're not going to do the Taste of Guilford at the fairgrounds this year, doing a different version of it with, I think they said maybe 10 restaurants and serving food and probably wine and beer, I'm not sure what else, but just said alcohol there at the beach. So there'd be 2 requests that we have. I have that letter, I forgot to bring it with me, it's down on my desk, but that's the gist of it. Sometime in the summer, they're looking to do this event down there and showcase Jacobs Beach, but they do want to have alcohol, which right now is prohibited without permission.
Well, given that we have 2
When-
requests, we should probably just go ahead and table it, discuss them both
And I'm
simultaneously.
thinking it's something maybe our legal people need to look into.
Well, they will,
Just-
Yeah.
once it goes to
Once
the
it goes to
Board of
Board of
Selectmen.
Selectmen.
Right.
Yeah,
When is the last time we granted?
Mm.
I don't think we ever have.
I didn't think we ever had either.
Have we ever been asked?
We've had
not to?
requests here
Yes, we've been having
sometimes.
requests here.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know about at the beach.
I don't
Not
remember
sure.
any at the beach.
Yeah.
So can you, so we can have a full discussion, can you look into and just make sure there's no other, just to kind of
Right.
see if there've been either any requests and or denials?
Mhm.
And when they were.
And, yep, and except it's just, and not that that will necessarily inform our decision-making, but just because the questions are coming up.
And I think it would be useful to send us a copy of the second request and a note to
Yeah.
all commissioners that we'll be discussing this at
Mhm.
the April meeting and taking a vote on whether we want to move it forward to the Board of Selectmen for their decision.
Just as
We
it'll
have to
be,
make
it
a
might be a
decision.
matter of precedent then.
We have to make our decision,
Yeah, we
yes.
have to make, and then we have to make our decision for those who are here.
Right.
Okay.
Thanks, Rick. Oh, could you also let Claire Kane know that we tabled it for
Yeah.
tonight, but that we will
Mhm.
definitely make our decision and inform her of what the process is, that
Right.
once we make a decision.
Mhm.
If we say no, they have no other recourse?
Well, I think the ordinance says that it's the commission and the board of selectmen. Now, the board of selectmen maybe could overrule. I'm not sure how that works. If the commission says no and they say yes.
Oh, I'm sure they could overrule,
Yeah.
but
Mhm.
if we say,
Is there any other place
the
they
other way
can go?
around.
yeah, if we
Is there
say
any other
no,
place
can
they
they
can
go
go?
directly to the Board of Selectmen?
I'm not sure. I don't know.
Assume, so if the Board of Selectmen can override us, then
Yeah.
they
Right.
could appeal our decision.
I think they
Send it
certainly would
directly
want
to
the
them.
commission's input, you know,
Yes.
because they know the commission
Right.
governs the parks and then.
So when we discuss it, we should be prepared to say why we support it or why we
Yeah.
Or
don't.
why we
Yeah.
deny it.
Right, so that there's
Do you
a
know if they're serving it or selling it?
serving.
Serving, not
It says
selling.
Yeah,
serving.
no selling.
In
At least
half
front of
pint,
us.
in half pint cups, so they're limiting.
And do you know if the chamber is selling or giving?
I don't. The letter doesn't specify that,
Okay.
it's just looking for permission.
Okay, that would be another
Right.
point to clarify.
Yeah. Okay.
A Taste of Guilford they sell,
Yeah, we do.
so I would assume it would be the same.
Well,
But let's find out for sure.
let's find out for sure. Okay. And
I'll
decide
look into
whether or
that.
not that's, the selling of it is relevant to selling and giving.
Mhm.
Okay.
Are there any more voting issues?
Um,
Are there any more voting issues? Voting issues?
No other voting issues.
Oh, how about the plaque, B?
Does that need to be voted? What is it? I was going to go to that.
That's 7B. It's just, again, Claire Kane was asking about a small plaque to list the sponsors for they did, they raised $80,000 for the
Right.
boardwalk, and they're looking for just a small plaque to put on a post or something down at the boardwalk, and just want to make sure there's permission to do that.
Permanent?
Yeah, yes.
Would we have a
Would we
say
be
in the
putting it?
design? Or would we get to see it and approve it?
I would think, yes, yeah.
Or we would approve it with specifications on how it would be built, size. and-
Mhm.
Yeah, we have, I mean, it's the same, we do,
Would we-
do the same approval process that we have for all the
Yeah.
others,
Right,
Right.
I would think.
Yeah.
Right. I think, yes, we would have an.
Because we have the
Do we have a
policies in
subcommittee
place
to
now.
develop the policies, right? But we vote on it as a commission?
Yeah, I think that's what we did last
Yeah.
time. Or
Okay.
would we,
We can't vote unless we know what it's
would we
going to
have
look
them
like.
use our sign
Mhm.
person that has done our signs,
Mhm.
that has that logo that's consistent with it?
We should follow we set up the policies, so we
Yeah.
just need to follow the policies.
And the policy says we have to look at it first.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So they need to draw it up, Rick, not that they have to make it yet, but they have to draw it up and tell us what it's made of,
Yeah.
how large it is, what the print looks
The
like.
specs
Mhm.
have
Just
to be with
schematic,
the
yeah.
actual visual.
Maybe we should provide them with the policy.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, our policies.
The policy is more about approval
It's-
rather
yeah,
Right,
than.
It's
than
more
the
just specified,
plaque.
just more towards how we vote on it.
Yeah, and in the policy it talks about, if we're naming a park or if we're naming something after
Right.
somebody,
Mhm.
they just want to recognize, like at Binder Park, there's a plaque that recognizes all the people who donated money to the playground up there.
Right.
And I think they're looking for something like that, only that's a lot bigger, that's a big bronze plaque. They're talking about something that's, 8,
Mhm.
well, 9.5 by 11, but it's not big, listing, I don't know, 8 or 10, in most cases, they're organizations, I think, not so much individuals, like
Right.
the Guilford Foundation has contributed to it, so.
So it's not the naming, it's just a recognition plan.
Yeah, yeah,
So we
right,
just need
right.
to
It's a
see
little different from our
schematic of
policy.
it.
This is not a name,
We have to
it's-
vote on the specs, that's why they have to
Yeah.
come back with a
Right.
drawing of it, a visual
Mhm.
drawing, and then the specs that they would use, including the materials.
Right.
That's
And-
what we'd be voting on.
And there was some concern in the past about things that were seen as advertising. Are the people, or the individuals, or the groups that gave the money to the Forest and Park Association, are there corporate ones? I mean, are there some corporate
Not
donors?
sure, I don't know.
Okay.
I guess I should get the list, too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, if they make you a mock-up and
It would
with
include
all the
that.
specs,
Right.
it would include that. And not that we would necessarily not want to approve it, but I just raised that because there had
Mhm.
been some concern in the
Mhm.
past about
We have to be
advertising. Okay.
Before you move on the matter of signs, the Planning and Zoning Commission recently approved the scoreboard at
Oh, good.
Nut Plains Park.
The named one.
No, not the named one,
New
but
one.
just the electronic
Oh,
scoreboard.
Yeah.
And
The
there
one
were a
they
lot of
applied.
questions about it, and they didn't have any representatives there, but apparently they had enough information to go ahead and approve it.
Good.
But it reminds me of, of the fact that that lacrosse group is going to provide both of the signs,
Mhm.
the wooden signs,
Right.
you know, one for their person, and then one for ours.
Right.
And maybe we should let them know what the sign should say.
Or what they look like.
What they should look like.
Oh, and what it should say, too.
I think the scoreboard, I believe, is going to have Bob McHenry's name on it, I think.
Then
I think it's
that
called
may
a scoreboard.
constitute their sign.
Yeah,
But part of their agreement was they were going to provide the sign for,
The other.
right,
you know, we called it the Depkin family.
correct.
But Judy corrected the minutes last week by saying it's friends of the Depkin family. I guess before too much time goes on, we ought to
Yeah,
let,
although the sign that used to be there, it said Depkin Field, that's what the sign that was up there. And I thought that we were just doing the same thing, just calling the front field the Depkin Field.
well,
It's
you might
Peter
want to talk
Depkin
to
Field.
Judy about that, because she had some conversations with the Depkin family. And that's why she brought
Okay.
that matter to us at the last meeting.
Mhm.
But I think it was just to say, to correct that, that
It was
that
still
was
gonna be Depkin.
Still gonna be Depkin Field, that's where, you know, there was some concern.
Okay, whatever. Okay.
Well, maybe we just need clarification to make sure that we're all on the same page with that.
Okay, so will you get that for us? Rick? And I think I remember saying that the Nut Plains Park needed its own sign as well, identifying it as a park and recreation.
I believe that one's been replaced.
It's been
I think.
replaced, oh,
Yeah.
good,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
There
Judy
is a
mentioned to
sign
me that I
there.
ordered it.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Okay, before Rose leaves, and not for anything of a vote, but for information and consideration purposes. About 4 years ago, we had contact with a group of dog owners and dog lovers about establishing a dog park in Guilford. And at the time, we didn't follow up, and the dog people didn't follow up as well, or they followed up, but nothing really came of it. And so we've been approached to reconsider the issue of a place where people can let their dogs run
Mhm.
free, or actually two places. One, an open space for free-running dogs that's
Okay.
controlled and monitored by a group of dog owners,
Mhm.
and a fenced-in place for the dogs, smaller dogs that maybe need to be off-leash but need to have a confined area. And so I'm bringing it to the commission for your thoughts and consideration. Joanne Basile is here. She was one of the original people who gave a presentation. One of the issues is the fact that more recently, there is no place where you can
Right.
legally let your
The dog
dog
run.
off leash in Guilford.
Right.
But of course, people need to and want to and do let their dogs off leash. And so it seems that it's very relevant to recreation and parks,
Mhm.
that this commission take it up and discuss how or if we want to support moving forward, not necessarily in one of our parks, perhaps at the East River Preserve. There's a nice big open field, but possibly at one of our parks. Or the notion of having a certain set time period where there is off-leash time at one of our parks that's legal. In other words, like from 6 to 8 at Chaffinch Island, just to throw that out for an example. Anyway, they're hoping, the dog support group is hoping very much that we will say we would like to consider it, we'd like to be helpful, we'd like to do what we can to get the powers that be to approve this. And one of the issues is that there's been an increase in patrolling areas where people do let their dogs off leash and tickets have been issued. And so there's this disconnect between what people are really doing and making what they're doing illegal and really enforcing that. And in a very expensive way, it's $75 for a ticket. And if you're a dog walker and have 3 dogs, that would be a pretty hefty sum. So obviously, it's not just up to us. If we decide to go forward and support this, we would have to, and I would hope be in the lead with working with the police department that controls the dog officer or animal control. Animal control staff of 2, and the chief of police, and certainly our town attorney, who there are issues of liability.
Right.
Yeah, that would be a concern.
But the people who are supporting this whole idea have a lot of really good ideas about how you could manage it and make it safe and make it enjoyable. And of course, it's a very social thing if you are a dog owner and a dog walker. But obviously, we want to make sure that people are safe. Anyway, I wanted to put it out there for your thoughts, and at the next meeting, I'll have some information printed that the dog park supporters have put together. They are prepared to work on it and really take the lead in managing what if it were to be actualized. So, and Joanne is here, so if as we wrap up, if there are any questions that you might have about that, she is one of the people who I met with.
Just one question, since this was before my time, before I got on the commission, what were the proposed areas that you were looking at for a
Yeah, that
dog
would be my
park?
concern, is where?
We didn't own, the town didn't own East River Preserve at that time, but we did own Peddler's Park.
Right, we
Often.
thought about peddlers. We hadn't gotten as far as, one of the things that we wanted from the town and from this committee or commission is to get a list of available properties. I think we're 2 things. One, obviously in the fenced-in area, we can't have anything that's too large because fencing is very expensive. 2, we have to be cognizant of having it in an area that's easy to get to, but is not in the way of homes and so on, because dog parks can get noisy. So, so we would actually ask for a list and then go out and review them and take into consideration the needs of the surrounding areas and the dog owners as well.
Just as a thought, Rick has been very active with Boy Scouts with setting up parks. This might be something that you could approach some of the Boy Scout troops in town, because as part of their public service, this is something that they would be able to help you with.
Well, interestingly enough, it was not a Boy Scout, but the higher group that you've already gotten.
Eagle Scouts,
The
yes.
Eagle Scouts
Yeah.
set up a park in Essex. That was their project, to do a dog park in Essex. That's actually a wonderful idea. It's a great way of getting kids involved, and yeah, terrific. I mean, and a lot of good, healthy, strong people.
Yep.
Well, Branford has a dog park, so
They
maybe,
do.
I don't know if you've
They
already
have
been
2.
in contact with them and to
Yeah.
get information from them, they'd be a good resource.
Right, and actually the woman who started the Hamden Dog Park is a neighbor of
Right.
ours.
Right,
Okay.
she lives in Guilford
Lives in our
now.
neighborhood.
So you have a lot of good resources to go to.
And there's one down
You
in
have a lot of
Worcester
good
Square.
resources to go.
Yeah, there are probably about
Shore
close to
Park,
50 parks in the
yeah.
state.
Well, most of the ones that are parks that are enclosed have chain link fences.
Right.
I'm not sure the Boy Scouts do chain link fences, but if they do, that's great too.
No?
But there are other parts to a dog park.
Right.
Yeah.
And we did look at peddlers. I remember walking peddlers to see if it could
Right.
work. Not down the lower sections, that's all the piles of, dirt and stuff down there. But there's another section where, a lot of trees, we'd have to probably take some down. But if I remember, the issue was, there wasn't support beyond this group for any funding for it. Beyond the Parks and Rec Commission, because we didn't have the money for it. And there was just we weren't going to get anything in the budget, to do it. And I think that's why it stopped at the time, because we ran into that dead
We ran into
end.
an election at the time too. We went before the Board of Supervisors, who am I thinking of?
Board of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen.
Board of Selectmen, thank you. And it was just before the election, and they kind of wanted to wait until after the election.
Do other towns, do dog owners pay a fee to use the dog park?
It varies. Some of them are open, but certainly one of the items we talked about was, there is the potential for some money-making here. We could have requirements that people have to have their dogs licensed in the town. As you probably can guess, you're required to license your dog, but many people do not. So, it's not a big sum, it's $8 a pop, but that would have to be a, proof of licensing. It also means that the dog has been inoculated, and vaccinated, and so on. The dog is healthy before they can enter the park. So that's one revenue. And then there was some talk about possibly charging a fee. But there's a little bit like you do on the beach.
I was just going to say,
Yeah.
we charge people to go to Jacobs Beach or to Lake Quantipoc, so
Right.
I didn't know if a user's fee would be, a nominal user's fee would be part of
Well, I think
process.
probably, a nominal user fee certainly could be talked about. I think that there are a lot of folks in the dog community that feel that, they pay a lot already in taxes and don't get very much in return.
Mhm.
So, because we don't have kids in the school system or something like that.
But then we'd have to pay someone to
No, they
Yeah.
have a key, there's a way you can have a pass that opens the gate.
oh,
But I think we're
And then
getting.
it's like a Metro pass,
Yeah.
then you know who went there.
mhm.
This is all good discussion
It
for when
sounds-
you come back with the
Yeah, I was
details
gonna say,
of-
it sounds like we're getting ahead of ourselves. The thing
Yeah.
that I would be most interested in is where
Yeah.
are the options? Where are the places we could put this? Where would we put one with open space? Where could we put the fenced in? That would be the most important thing, I think, to focus on first, and then we could worry about all the
Oh,
rest
yeah,
of it.
right.
Let me just
So-
say, in terms of the open space one, I just want to interject that the Goss property
East River Preserve.
East River Preserve.
was an area that was of, interest, but it would be, as Barbara said, for limited times, on certain days at certain times, or something like that, or certain seasons and not others.
Mhm.
The fenced-in one is a little more problematic. I would have to take a look at what is available and then what would be possible.
I do know that the Worcester Square Dog Park,
I know that
I'm
one.
sure you know that one.
I do.
They had to raise, I think, $17,000 just to get the fence and get the other things. And they set up a 501c corporation for ongoing fundraising. and
Yeah.
Not only maintaining, but improving.
Right, well,
their-
yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're very interested in doing the fundraising for this.
Great.
We would take that on.
That's great.
That would be our commitment.
So maybe between now and our next meeting, your group could go and look at some of the properties. All the parks that we are under our purview are on our website, are they not?
Mhm.
Oh, good.
Yeah, so.
Perfect.
But you also need to look at the other open space in town, too.
That's right. And what other open spaces are there?
Well, I'd have to go check. I'm not positive.
Well,
They
East
should
River
have a list
Preserve,
of
well,
all
that's
that,
not
yeah.
under our jurisdiction.
That's not under our
the
jurisdiction.
biggest
It's a
one.
lot that's
Conservation
not.
Commission?
Yeah.
That would be
Through town hall.
Kevin
The
McGee.
Dudley property.
Dudley Park.
What about County Road,
That's what I'm saying,
Oh,
yeah,
that's the
Dudley,
one.
yeah,
Yeah.
County Road.
County Road?
Those are town-owned properties that are just open space.
What about the
If-
property towards the Guilford Yacht Club? Isn't that town property there too?
Yeah, but that's all woods. It's all overgrown.
What property?
Going toward the yacht club, what is that road there?
Whitfield?
Pages Lane?
Pages, yeah.
Pages.
That's the area they talked about making
They're
athletic
making it to
fields a bunch of
athletic
years
fields,
ago, and that
yeah.
became very controversial. And but that's very, very thick, overgrown.
Who in town would know, what office in town would Joanne and her group go to look at for open space?
Kevin McGee, environmental planner. He's got a GIS system that shows everything, that shows all the open space and everything. Yeah, that'd be the place to go.
Oh, great.
He's at Town Hall South.
Yeah,
So our website for parks, Kevin McGee for other open space.
great.
And maybe come back and tell us what you found?
Sure. Put
Okay.
together a list.
Yep,
That would be great.
Okay.
That would be very helpful to me.
okay, great. Thank you, Joanne.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Do we have a motion to? Is there any
Before we
other-
go, one last
Yeah.
thing. Crystal Ball, March 29th, Pine Orchard, don't forget.
Pine Orchard.
Yep, Pine Orchard Yacht Club.
Oh,
It's been moved.
oh,
Okay.
Is that at the
Okay.
Woodlands anymore?
No, it's going to be at Pine Orchard Yacht
Pine
Club.
Orchard, yeah.
and what date?
Saturday, March 29th.
And the hour?
7 p.m.
Okay,
till midnight.
Where would they
And
get,
do you wanna
Dancing,
say-
dinner, cocktails, hors d'oeuvres.
where would they get
Formal.
tickets if they wanted to?
There's brochures right here. Get them at Pages, you can get them around town.
Okay,
Go for
and
Savings
price?
Bank. $125 a person,
Okay,
$125 a person.
okay.
That's the, you like that one better.
Further edification.
It's not 1950
I'll buy a
anymore.
Thanks, Rose.
Barbara, I have one other
Yes.
the request for a fundraising volleyball tournament.
Oh, right, oh, sorry, we're not quite
Okay.
ready to adjourn yet. Rick has had another request.
Yeah, this is for, not for alcohol this time, but it's for a
Okay.
volleyball tournament. It's a non-resident who's asked to use Jacobs Beach for a volleyball tournament for fundraiser for mesothelioma, lung disease.
Mhm.
And we do allow non-residents to rent the beach and rent facilities down there. We have a fee structure for that. But it's a fundraiser. They're expecting up to 100 people. So
When would it be?
in the summer, August 9th, I think they asked for.
What day of the
So
week
it's
is
a
that?
Saturday or a Sunday.
And what do they need of the park? I mean, would they want to take the whole beach?
Well, I told them we have a
Park.
volleyball net that's not on the beach, and we wouldn't be able to set up any on the beach because now people can't use the beach. You got volleyballs
Right.
flying around, and so I said, if they have a separate net, they could set up on the grass, there and
Fair
do
enough.
that. But they're hoping that it'd be a fundraiser. I
This
don't
is a
know if we've had
Saturday?
fundraisers down at Jacobs other than, well, there've been road races that have been down there in the area, but they're not always during beach season, or they're out of there before the beach opens or whatever. It's early, like the Sea Lake Shuffle used to be there early in the morning. They were gone by like 11, and the beach opened at 11 or 12 on a Sunday. And actually, part of that fundraiser came back to us they gave us a donation for the camp, for scholarships for camp. So we got some money that came back to us for that. So other than that, I don't remember fundraisers down there. They
Well,
happen
we've
here
had
sometimes.
fundraisers here.
Yeah.
We've had, people have used the rooms,
Yeah.
nonprofit organizations have used the rooms to work on fundraisers.
Right.
Would there be any reason why they couldn't use, say, Bittner Park? Or Long?
Well, they wanted beach
Water.
volleyball.
Beach.
Oh, they want beach.
They want to play in the beach sand.
And so we have the one
Yeah.
sand
Yeah, I
volleyball
get
court, the
it.
other one would just be grass,
Yeah.
'cause again, I told them they wouldn't be able to set it up.
You might want to tell
on the
them that
beach.
because beach sand is the thing.
Yeah. Well, I told them, if they had it, they'd only have the one court, and we cannot set it up on the beach. We used to have 2 volleyball courts on that beach, but as we started getting more
Right.
people, which now with the improvements, we're getting more people, you get whacked in the head if you're trying to sun yourself.
Right. No,
no.
We
No,
had
you
to keep the volleyball off the beach.
And they're okay with that?
I told them that would be a parameter if the commission approved them being there. They'd have to have, one would have to be on grass and one in the sand area, not on the beach.
Okay.
How do you keep 100 kids busy with one
Yeah.
volleyball court, though?
Well, I don't know if they're kids or adults, I'm not
It's
sure
probably adults.
what they're
Those are
looking for.
adults.
They're home for
It's a
100
fundraiser.
people.
So they
What
want
about-
both pavilions and they want the volleyball court?
Well,
I mean, what
yeah.
exactly are they wanting to
Yeah.
reserve?
Well, I told them that you probably have to at least reserve the pavilion and pay a fee for that, and
Right.
it's for non-residents, for that number of people, it's like $200, I think.
And they're expecting how many people?
They're up to 100.
And
It seems like a lot.
Daytime,
Saturday.
nighttime?
Yeah,
Summer.
day,
They
so
could do it.
they want it
It's a
for
great way to
5
promote the
hours,
beach,
so
though.
they're
It's
like.
great, yeah, and it's,
10 to 3,
you know,
something like
it's for
that.
charity,
Yeah.
yeah.
it's not a problem, I think, that it's a fundraiser because they're
No.
nonprofit. It's
Right.
the for-profit fundraisers
Right.
that we're not,
Mhm.
profit-making.
Right.
Right.
We
And
want
can-
them
and the
satisfied
parking
with
lot can
the
handle it?
arrangements, though. Yeah.
Well, the parking lot,
It's-
We'd have to
pulls
use-
85, and then we park on the grass,
It's
we can
built
probably get
like this.
120 or something there. But I just want to keep in mind that if there are 100 people for this, are we going to have a problem with residents not being able to get and park
Well,
there to
that's
use
my
the beach?
concern about it being a Saturday. I mean,
It's
I'm
Saturday
all
or
for
Sunday,
them
it's August
using it,
9th,
it's
I'm not
just-
sure what, it is a weekend date, though.
Mm.
So, I don't know how soon they need to know this, if they can wait a meeting, if you want to address all these issues with the other things down at Jacobs Beach.
Well, being
and-
that they're okay with one in the sand and one out of the sand, would they be okay with both of them not being in the sand, where we could use another park? I mean, does it, they're agreeable to one of them not being in the sand, would they be, I guess the question would be, would they be agreeable to both of them not being in the sand?
You might want to invite him to the next meeting.
We've got
Yeah.
several issues. One is that they're from out of town. It's
Right.
not an in-town group.
Yeah.
The second is I think we've solved, it's a fundraiser, but it's a not-profit, it's a
Right.
not-for-profit
Right.
fundraiser.
Which is fine.
And then our concern about how many people they are going to have, which will, definitely on a summer weekend, we don't have but 10 of those, possibly crowd out citizens,
Mhm.
but we don't have any, we've never said if you're renting a pavilion, you can only have X number of people.
Right.
Right, we've never limited.
We've never limited it,
No.
so.
Okay. Mhm. So,
Just questions to ask, it's just,
but I mean, that's a good point, because, yeah, we could have 80 people in the 2 pavilions.
Right.
That takes up a lot of the
That's
parking
right.
space, too.
Right.
yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
so
That's right.
the
Rick,
potential.
how
is-
far out of town are they?
Clinton.
Oh, Clinton.
Well, that's where the person who made the request lives. Yeah.
Do we know, like,
And we don't know 100 people may not necessarily be 100 cars. I
Set
mean,
up
it's,
to-
it's,
yeah,
it
right.
probably could work.
Right.
right. I mean, I don't think we have any policies that argue against it, other than we're just concerned about the number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You can
Um,
always
If it was
restrict
another
their
day of the
parking. You
week,
can
it'd
move
be
their
no
parking
I know.
over to,
Yeah.
It's more
Right.
just.
Shouldn't it? Yeah. So,
I would just confirm, do they absolutely have to have in the sand, just for our own edification? Because we could certainly solve that problem very easily. We have a lot of other places they could go to. Not to say we can't work it out at the beach, and it's just an option.
We want them to be happy and successful too.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
So if it only works at Jacobs Beach, I assume, should I just charge what the non-resident fee is for the rental of the picnic shelter and just do it?
Aren't they
like
gonna
that?
need
Yes.
2 of them for 100
Yeah.
people? They're gonna need
Yeah.
both
It's
of
gonna
them.
be like, yeah, it'd be about $200 probably.
For both?
Yeah, total, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, just whatever we normally would do.
Okay.
As long as they understand that it's going to be an open public park for the residents of
That's
the
right.
town of Guilford. Any holder of a pass is entitled to come in.
That's right.
And
Okay.
if it got down to, I don't think it would, but if it got down to a parking issue, that we would lean towards allowing a resident to take parking over
How do we do
somebody for an
that?
event. I don't know how you would do that, but
I don't think you could do that. First come, first served to the
that's why I'm
spot.
concerned about that.
Yeah, unless we told them that parking would have to be at
It's just-
Chittenden Park.
yeah,
If they
some of
weren't
them could,
determined,
yeah.
They could just walk
That's a
over.
point we'll take, and they could walk
They
over.
could do
Put on their
yeah,
dashboard that
that's
they can
true.
leave
I
it.
forget about Chittenden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
overflow.
Chittenden's
We have
close enough. They
overflow
could, they
parking in
could
the field
park there and walk over.
And we have
Wouldn't be
overflow
bad.
parking at Chittenden, which
Mhm.
is probably not as much used on a weekend as it is
Yeah, right.
No, it's
during the
barely
week.
used.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, in the summer, yeah.
In the summer.
Soccer's done, Little League's done.
So we could ask them to use that first.
Yeah,
Mm, yeah.
okay. I'll have a conversation with the person who filled the form out.
Okay. So do we need to make a motion and have a vote, or are we just giving, shall we just
Do they
give
need
Rick?
to know for their
Let's-
planning purposes as far as advertising? And I mean, I know it's a long way off, but these
Yeah.
groups get together pretty.
I guess, so what I'll do is I'll find out if it has to be on sand, which one of them isn't going to be anyway. Is
Right,
it
that's
gonna
what I
be-
asked.
Is the one
Once-
volleyball, the sand one on the actual beach?
No, it's on
No,
the sand
okay.
court that we have down
Oh,
there.
sand court.
Yeah,
Okay.
so,
Thank you, Rose.
but quite frankly, I don't know where else, I mean, you can't put it on the middle of an athletic field because it'll chew up the grass, so I'm not, even if we moved it to Chittenden, it's gonna go on a soccer field, it's gonna ruin the soccer field, so we're almost better off probably having that at
Half
Jacobs.
of it in the sand.
Yeah.
I'm
So,
sure you could find a place over near the playground, away from where people are sitting.
Yeah, yeah,
I
there's
mean,
that
we should
far
be so
area.
lucky as the beach is totally full
Yeah.
on a on a summer afternoon, on a
Hey,
weekend.
This summer it's going to be.
Maybe, okay. So are we saying to Rick, go forward
Yes.
with
All
this
right, I'm
group?
going to make a
Rick-
motion that we approve the request for this group to hold their fundraising event.
Can't, we lost.
Oh,
We
we
lost our
lost it.
quorum.
Yeah, we lost our quorum.
Scratch.
Well, you guys gave me the direction you want me to go with it,
Yes.
so.
Yes.
Rick, how far does our beach extend beyond either the boat rack or the playground? I mean, is there enough room for two?
Yeah.
On that part of the beach?
Well, there's that grassy area beyond the swings, beyond the playground,
Yeah.
and we put like a little, we put a soccer goal in there for Soccer Fest, and they kick into the goal. I mean, there's a
That's a good
fair,
amount.
you can easily get a volleyball court in there, easily.
Yeah,
That could
that
be
I
where
mean.
the other grass
That-
one
that's
would
what I
be.
mean.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I think that'd be the good place for it, because
Yeah,
it's
it's-
far enough away from anybody getting hit with a
wouldn't
ball or
disturb.
something.
But there's a
so-
dock, that's not ours.
No.
No.
So between that dock and say, where we have something.
Mhm.
I mean, they could put a volleyball court there.
Yeah,
There's plenty
it's
of
not
room
as
down
far
there.
as the dock, but it's an area that we mow up to, and you can see where the grass is not mowed, you know, that's where the end of our property is.
There's plenty of room down there.
Yeah, there's room,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, we can find space there to do it,
yeah, it's off the beaten path of the
yeah.
beach.
Okay.
Did I hear any requests for alcohol from them? I mean, fundraising?
Do they know that no
Didn't say-
alcohol?
Didn't say that on the
Didn't say
application.
don't
Okay.
The application says no alcohol at the parks and the
Okay.
beach.
But you might want to reiterate that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see the beer cakes.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, well, there's no point in a motion to adjourn because we can't vote on it. We don't have a quorum, so,
No.
right? So we just say we're going to adjourn and tell the time?
Guess so.
Okay, we're adjourning then at 7.
Because we can't sit here all night.
No, we
waiting for
can't.
quorum.
Waiting for somebody to come back? Yes.
Adjourning the meeting at 7:24.
Until the next meeting, we'll be here.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. One more, Rob?